For what purpose does the gentleman from Illinois seek recognition?
I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 22, printed in Part B of House Report number 112-616, offered by Mr. Manzullo of Illinois.
Pursuant to House Resolution 738, the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Manzullo, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois for 5 minutes.
Madam Chair, I recognize myself for 2 minutes. Today I'm offering a common-sense bipartisan amendment to H.R. 4078 with my good friend from North Carolina, Mike McIntyre. This amendment would codify some of the administration's own policies regarding scientific integrity. In March of 2009, President Obama announced a new policy on scientific integrity. This amendment requires agencies to follow their own scientific integrity guidelines. It's important to consider that the nature of federal regulations has been changing, with more and more decisions being made without developing formal final agency actions. Instead, we see more and more major policy changes being made through the issuance of guidelines or the development of agency listings. The agencies will tell affected private parties that these guidelines or listings are not really regulations because they are not final actions, but the impact in the marketplace sure could be pretty final. The Manzullo-McIntyre amendment codifies the requirement that the director of OSTP require each agency to develop guidelines to maximize the quality, objectivity, utility, and integrity of scientific information used by federal agencies. The amendment requires appropriate peer review, the disclosure of scientific studies used in making decisions, and an opportunity for stakeholder input. It also requires federal agencies to give the greatest weight to information based upon reproducible data that is developed in accordance with the scientific method. Further, it deems agency actions that do not follow such procedures to be arbitrary and subject to challenge by affected stakeholders. I would hope that my colleagues consider this amendment as an objective, bipartisan attempt at approving the regulatory process.
Does the gentleman reserve the balance of his time?
I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves.